Hey YouTube, Common Collector here, and today I am finally bringing you guys my update to Evil Eyes. I have been meticulously working on this deck ever since the new card came out in Eternity Code, and I finally figured out the perfect way that you guys should be playing this. I do think that this is like the most perfect way to be playing this deck. I really wouldn't change too much about it, and I will go into very full detail on how everything is running. But basically, this is a extremely simple and fun control deck. Basically, it centers around getting out one of these three monsters, or if you can get out two or all three of them at the same time, and equip them with either Evil Eye of Selene or Evil Eye of Gorgonio. And then they get bonus effects like a negation, a destroying one special summon monster, and destroying one card on the field. So a lot of just really simple negations and disruptions can go on in this deck, and I think that that's like one of the best forms of control decks out there, is just having really simple effects that make a lot of impact over time. So if you guys haven't already, please consider subscribing, and if you guys are looking for more of a budget build style of this deck, please just let me know in the comments. I've been working on a budget build for a few days now, and I can definitely get out a budget deck profile on this as soon as I can. But other than that, let's get on into the deck profile. And yeah, if you guys want to check out any of my other deck profiles and stuff, again, please just hit the notification bell and subscribe to the channel. So going on, we are playing 3 copies of Surzeal, Watcher of the Evil Eye. He is your best card in the deck. He's the starter, and he just really helps push your plays to the max potential. What he does is that when he's normal summoned, he adds one Evil Eye card from your deck to your hand. Can be anything, monster, spell, or trap, which is very, very nice. The only downside is that it's on his normal summon, so it would be really nice if this would come back on his special summons. We would play a lot more special summonable cards in the deck, but anyways, when he's equipped with the Evil Eye of Selene equip spell, you are able to destroy one special summon monster your opponent controls, and that is a quick effect. So that means that you're able to get that effect off every single turn, your turn and your opponent's turn, which is really, really powerful. Like, with a lot of control decks, there's like a lot of things that require costs and stuff, and the best part about this deck is that it really doesn't require a lot of costs and whatnot for your effects, so it helps you to keep a really simple control state, taking your opponent's cards off, like one, like a one-for-one effect. However, a lot of the time you're taking out one of your opponent's resources and you're not negging at all. So then the only downside to his effect is that during the next standby phase, after you use his destruction effect, you have to destroy one card that you control. But this does synergize really well with your field spell, which gains additional effects when destroyed by a card effect. So it's actually pretty nice. So yeah, very great card. You got to be playing it at 3. He's a little expensive at 20 bucks, but overall, best starter card in the deck. You got to be playing him at 3. Then going on, Basilius, Familiar of the Evil Eye, just like the Basilisk from Harry Potter. I just really love the overall theme of this deck. Also, I have Evil Eye kind of sleeves, which really is not very subtle when you take this deck to locals. People know exactly what you're playing. But anyways, what Basilius does is that he can special summon himself from the hand as long as you have an Evil Eye on the field. So he is a great search target for your Surzeal. You just summon your Surzeal, search Basilius, and then special summon him to the field. And then also, while he's on the field once per turn, you can basically Foolish Burial Goods a spell or trap card from your deck to your graveyard. So you just summon him out, and then you can send one of anything to your graveyard, and both of your equipped spells do a lot of really nice things when they're in the graveyard. So he is a great 2-of in the deck. You can drop him down to 1 if you want, but I really, really encourage you to play him at 3 or at 2. That's just how, where he's played best. Then going on, we were playing 1 Medusa, Watcher of the Evil Eye. She's very similar to the Surzeal. When she's normal summoned, she has an effect that she can pick up one of your Evil Eye cards that's in the graveyard. So she's a little bit better late game. She's not a great card to open with, but you can do some really savage plays with her. If you top deck her, summon her, pick up your Evil Eye Gorgonio equip spell, and then this card can get up to like 6,000 attack points or whatever you equip it to. So then also when it's equipped with Evil Eye of Selene, it gains the additional effect that it can banish one card in your opponent's graveyard as a quick effect, so that's very nice. And then again, she sort of has another an effect during the next standby phase. After you activate her effect, you have to banish one card from your graveyard. So that's not very good, but Not very applicable. We don't really equip her with Celine very often. Then our last Evil Eye monster in the main deck is Catabalpass, Familiar of the Evil Eye. We just play this card at 1 as well. Basically what he does is that he can add protection to one of your Evil Eye spell or trap cards. It just can't be destroyed by card effects until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then also when he's sitting in your graveyard, if you control an Evil Eye monster, you can special summon him back to the field and then just link him away for more link material, and then he gets banished after you use that. But overall it's really great, just helps you to climb a little bit more in your link monsters if that's what you're going for. Then for our last 3 monsters in the deck, we are playing 2 Artifact Scythe and 1 Artifact Lancia. So I am playing the Artifact engine in this deck. So with the Artifact Scythe, it's just really, really nice to lock your opponent out of their extra deck for the 1 turn. And then with Lancia, you can either discard it from your hand or tribute it off of your field. And then you can lock, neither player can banish cards for the rest of the turn, which is really, really powerful, especially right now. But overall, I seem to usually go on into the Scythe more often, but Lancia is really nice if you draw into it anyways, because you can just discard it from the hand. Then going on into the spells, we are of course playing the 2 Evil Eye of Celine. I've already kind of mentioned this card, but I haven't mentioned what it does. Because along with the effects that all of these guys get when they're equipped, this card is also just really insane. So when this card is equipped to an Evil Eye monster, that monster can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. Also, it can't be destroyed by battle. And then anytime that you activate that Evil Eye monster's effect or another Evil Eye spell or trap card, you pay 500 life points and then you get an attack boost onto that. So basically you summon this, activate Celine to equip onto this, and then you use this to destroy one of your opponent's special summon monsters, and then every other spell or trap card that you activate is going to give you another 500 attack boost. You're basically just going to be taking down your own life points in order to increase your monster's attack points, which is really, really crazy. You can get these guys up to a lot of attack points. And then also, if this card leaves the field, you still get that attack boost, so it's still really, really nice. Then also I mentioned that Evil Eye of Celine has a really good graveyard effect. If Celine is in your graveyard and you have another Evil Eye spell or trap in the graveyard, you can banish that other card in order to set this back to your field by paying 1,000 life points, and then you can just activate it again, so this card can always just come back. The big downside to this deck is that I've found that Evenly Matched really, really hurts this deck, because if you have Surzeal on the field with Celine equipped to it and your opponent activates Evenly Matched, you basically have to banish everything, let the Celine fizzle to the graveyard, and then you start, or and then your opponent has a completely open board to go into, unless there's something else better with Evenly Matched. So that's why also in the main deck I am playing a lot of like counter traps and stuff in order to stop stuff like Evenly Matched and Dark Ruler No More from wiping out our board. Going on then, we are playing 2 copies of Evil Eye Gorgonio. With this card is just really insane. This card came on Chaos Impact, and it was a huge boost to the deck. But when this card is equipped to an Evil Eye monster and your life points are lower, and like I said with Celine, we're going to be paying a lot of life points. So when our life points are lower than our opponents, we gain an attack boost equal to the difference in our life points. So if you can keep your opponent at 8,000 life points, thinking that they're leading the duel, and then you get down to about 1,000 life points or less, and then equip Gorgonio onto somebody, and then just pound over whatever they have. It's just a really great way to go for that surprise kill, and it's just about the simplest OTK that you can possibly get. This is easily a 1-card combo. You summon Surzeal, search your Gorgonio, and then go ahead and just do that. Also, like I said, this card is great in the graveyard. If this is in the graveyard and you have an Evil Eye spell card in your hand, you can, any Evil Eye card, you can discard the Evil Eye card in order to, and you banish this card, and then you can add any Evil Eye card from your deck to your hand. So this card's really great for just searching out extra stuff. If this is in your graveyard and you have an Evil Eye card in your hand to discard, you can basically go into any combo starter you want. Cough, cough, your Surzeal. So, yeah, these cards are just so great. They're so good together, and they have to be played at least 2 of, and I really wouldn't put them up to any more than 2 or 3. But anyway, I don't think it really even needs to be played at 3. Then going on, we were playing 3 copies of Evil Eye Domain Pareidolia. This is our field spell, and you always want to see this on turn 1. So what this card does is it is basically a Rhoda for your Evil Eye monsters, When you activate this card, you just search and add one Evil Eye monster from your deck to your hand. Pretty simple. So it's just a super simple combo starter for your deck. So this card and Surzeal, you always want to see one or both of them on your opening hand. Then also, while this is on the field, if you have Evil Eye of Selene in your spell and trap zone, and your opponent attacks one of your Evil Eye monsters, you can take your opponent takes the first battle damage that you would take that turn. So if you're about to take about 3,000 damage and you want your opponent to, it is an optional effect. So if you're trying to keep your life points lower by so you can utilize Gorgonio later, it is an optional effect, so you don't have to do it. But if you are trying to just take your opponent down with you, you can go ahead and use the Pareidolia and drag them down with you for one of the battles that turn. Then also, when this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can add one Evil Eye monster from your graveyard back to your hand. Doesn't come off too often, but overall it is pretty nice. Then in this build, I am playing the 3 Pot of Extravagance. The extra deck is needed, but it's not like we're not going super full into the extra deck like an Adamancipator deck would. So overall, the 3 Extravagance are just really nice to help search through the deck. Also, we are playing 3 copies of Called by the Grave, because like I said, that Surzeal as well as your Pareidolia effects are just super important. You always have to be getting those off. Then I'm playing 2 copies of the new spell, Evil Eye Remergence. This is a good 2 of. It could also go to 3 of, but I like it still at 2. What this card does is that it gives you an Evil Eye token to your side of the field. However, if you have Evil Eye of Selene face upon your field, you get 2 tokens instead, which is really, really nice. So as long as you have 1 monster on the field equipped with your Evil Eye of Selene, you do that, you get 2 monsters, and then you can easily extend and link climb from there. So the Remergence works just so nice. A really great card that came out of Eternity Code. The downside is that it locks you into Fiends for the turn, so for that reason, I am playing a pretty heavy Fiend extra deck, but yet it does work really, really well, and like I said, the extra deck is not that important. Then besides that, during the turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard, and then for the rest of the turn, your Evil Eye spell and trap cards can't be destroyed, they can't be targeted by card effects. So that effect really isn't all that great, but it kind of does have its moments. Yeah, I'm still sort of playing around with that, but it hasn't really come up too much, so I sort of just like to leave it in the graveyard in case I have to banish something for Selene later. Then our next 2 of, I'm playing 2 copies of Evil Eye Awakening. This lets you special summon a Evil Eye monster from your hand or graveyard. However, if you have Evil Eye of Selene on the field, you're able to special summon a monster from the deck. So if you guys are finally picking up on it, the Evil Eye cards all work so much better when you have Evil Eye of Selene on the field. So that is just like always your go-to to get that on the field as quick as possible. And so yeah, Evil Eye Awakening, really cool card. Helps you to just take out whatever you need from the main deck or from your hand or graveyard, depending on what you have on the board state. Then 1 Terraforming, because we're playing a field spell, and then 1 Foolish Burial Goods. This is just basically another copy of Basilius, Familiar of the Evil Eye. Just helps you to send your Gorgonio or your Evil Eye of Selene to the graveyard in order to set up your future plays. This card, along with any Evil Eye card in your hand, is basically full combo. Because you use this, send Gorgonio to the graveyard, discard whatever Evil Eye card, search, add Surzeal, and then you just combo off from there. So it's really, really nice. So that's going to do it for all of the spells, guys. Now we're going to get on into the traps, which we play quite a bit of. I'm playing 3 copies of Artifact Sanctum, because we are playing all the artifact cards. So I am not playing the Evil Eye Confrontation, you might have noticed, just because spells and traps aren't totally relevant right now. But this is chilling in my side deck. But you also have potential for a little destruction with this. So if Artifact Sanctum is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can destroy 1 card your opponent controls. So not going to come up too often, but also we do have a lot of extra deck stuff that can destroy things as well. We are playing 3 copies of Crackdown. So Crackdown is really, really great in here. I was about to drop it to 2 to make room for our final trap card in this deck, but oh my gosh, you just have to play 3 copies of Crackdown. I was at Regionals back in February before the Rona hit, and I was able to crack down people just back and forth, left and right that whole day. I was going up against a Salamangrate deck, and they got out a Pyro Phoenix, as well as like another really powerful Link monster, and I just cracked down both of them and stole their monsters, and it's just hilarious watching people freak out. And then with your card in the extra deck, your Gorgon, Empress of the Evil Eye, it only requires one Evil Eye monster in order to link summon it, so that means that you can go ahead and use Crackdown, steal your opponent's monster, and then just link it away for your Gorgon, Empress of the Evil Eye later. Then we are playing 2 copies of Solemn Judgment. I've been seeing a lot of people like dropping this from their builds, but I think it's really, really powerful. If you're able to get off like a really good Solemn Judgment off on your opponent, and then get Gorgonio into your hand in order to attack your opponent for big damage, it's really, really strong. So yeah, like you're never going to lose by using Judgment because it only cuts your life points in half, and it just helps you to protect your board if your opponent's going to use Dark Ruler No More or something like that, like to just try to totally wipe out your board or evenly match, as I said. That Solemn Judgment is just really, really helpful. Then we are also playing 2 copies of Evil Eye Retribution. It's another spell and trap negate, as long as you have an Evil Eye monster on the field. And then the final card that I just added in, which I'm just like a little bit upset with myself that I didn't have in my original build, was Evil Eye Defeat. So what this card does is that it can, as long as you have an Evil Eye monster on the field, you can activate this, and then you pop one of your opponent's monsters from their field back to their hand. However, if you have Evil Eye of Selene on the field, you can bounce 2 cards to the hand. So it is really, really strong, and I didn't have it in the deck originally because I was playing so many Crackdowns, and I was actually playing 3 Judgments. But now the way the build is working right now, it's really, really powerful to do Evil Eye of Defeat, and that kind of just took the spot of the Confrontation, which we still have the Evil Eye name, so that's just sort of how I like it in the deck. Now let's head on into the extra. For the extra deck, we are of course playing 3 copies of Gorgon, Empress of the Evil Eye, and as you can see here, I have the beautiful Starlight Rare Edition, which I pulled out of a Chaos Impact pack, which really led me into this deck. But the great cards really made me stick. When I pulled this, I said, hey, I got to build Evil Eyes now. And then after I built the deck, I really fell in love with it. And once you guys start playing with this deck, I really hope that you do as well. But anyways, when this card is on the field, it gains 100 attack for every differently named Evil Eye card in your graveyard, which is pretty cool. You can get this easily up to about 2,500 attack towards like the middle of the duel. And then and that's without any of the equipped spells on it. Then also, when you do have one of the equipped spells on this, then you're able to negate the effects of one of your opponent's monsters, again, as a quick effect. So that is just really, really strong to be able to negate 1 effect monster per turn. And then also, the turn after you activate this card's effect during the next standby phase, you destroy 1 monster that this card points to. So it doesn't come up too often, but if your opponent does summon to that zone in front of Gorgon, you are able to pop it. So it doesn't come up too often, but it is pretty nice. Overall, this is like my go-to Link monster to go into. But now that we have the Evil Eye Remergence spell card, we can go into Zerziel. Now, sorry, I apologize. I only have 1 copy of Zerziel right now because he wasn't very good back in the day. But now that we have Evil Eye Remergence, I really think that it can be played at 3 copies now that we have Extravagance. You kind of need to play both of these cards at 3. But what Zerziel does is he's basically an amped up version of Surziel, which I guess you're supposed to take in from his name. But what Zerziel does is he needs 2 Evil Eye monsters, or 2 or more Evil Eye monsters to summon him. He's a Link 3 monster, so pretty easy to just go into Gorgon and then go into him with another monster. And then while he's, if he is summoned with a monster with 2,600 or more attack, you're able to attack twice per battle phase with him, which is really, really cool. So the easiest way to do that actually also is with Surziel. As long as you just use Surziel's effect once while equipped with your Evil Eye of Selene, and then you use another Evil Eye spell card, he'll get boosted up to exactly 2,600 attack, link him away with 2 other monsters, and go into Zerziel. Or if you can get Gorgon to get juiced up by itself or with other effects, sure, go on into that, and then this card can attack twice. Then also, like I said, he's a boosted version of Surziel, so he can destroy 1 card per turn as long as he's equipped with Selene. So that works also very, very nice. And then during the next standby phase after you activate his effect, he negates the effect of 1 effect monster that he points to. So he does point down, so sometimes you can end up negating your Gorgon's effect, but also he points up just like Gorgon does, so you can potentially negate one of your opponent's monster's effects as long as you place him properly on the field. Then just other cards to fill up the spots. These aren't really required, but one Appaloosa, one Mech Knight Crusade Avramax, and then because we do get locked into Fiends with our Evil Eye Remergence, I'm playing Unchained Abomination, 2 copies of Unicorn, 2 copies of Phoenix, and then 1 copy of Cerberus, and then also 1 copy of IP Masquerena to close it out. Overall, like the Phoenix and the Unicorn are great in here because, like I said, we're not playing really any spell destruction in the main deck. We have a little in the side and a little in the extra deck, so overall these 2 cards are good enough to get over stuff. And then if your opponent is playing like Mystic Mind Burn, then that's when you generally have to go into some side decking. And speaking of which, let's head on into the side deck. So again, since we are playing up against a lot of combo decks in this format, we're of course playing the 3 Nibiru. I'm just going to kind of lay them all out here. 3 Nibiru, 3 Infinite Impermanence. I'm not playing any hand traps in the deck. I'm going for more of like a just like disrupt your opponent's big plays kind of game. Infinite Impermanence is a great card to go ahead and side on in. Or I've been seeing a few other people, they play in the main deck. They play this along with the Artifact Sanctum, and then they play Trap Trick, which helps you to search out both trap cards, so it does work pretty well. Then I'm playing 3 copies of Evenly Matched, of course, along with Dark Ruler No More. So you got to be playing these 4 cards at 12 copies is pretty much like the Holy Quadruple or the Holy Trinity, whatever. And then just for like a little bit more stuff, when I'm going second, Evil Eye Confrontation, Double Cyclone, and then Mind Control. Mind Control is sort of something that I go ahead and side out with some of my other stuff like Crackdown. Then when it comes to my side deck options, if I'm going up against a combo deck, these are generally like the 10 cards that I like to side in. You have your 3 Evenly Matched, Nibiru, and Dark Ruler No More, and then your Mind Control, which is going to be a lot more helpful than any of your Crackdowns. So basically the way that I replace all these cards is I keep in the Artifact Lancia in the main deck because it can be discarded from the hand. However, I take out the rest of the Artifact engine, so I take out all 3 Artifact Sanctum, the 2 Scythe, one of your Judgments, and then the Evil Eye of Defeat, and then you take out your 3 copies of Crackdown, take out basically most of your traps, and then you go ahead and swap in these 10 cards or some variation of that, and that is going to get you a long way. That's going to help you to rip through your opponent's board, and then whatever, basically any combos of like 1 or 2 of these cards, that is going to really help you to push through anything that your opponent's going to throw at you, and then get the game state to how you want it. Alright guys, now that I've sort of explained how the deck works, I want to go over just a few things right now and just sort of tell you about why these cards, these 4 cards right here are basically your main starters. Any sort of variation of a few of these cards is going to get you into your full combo setup. So just for like a really quick tutorial, I'm going to say that we're opening up with these 2 cards in our hand, and I'll just go over how to play your turn from here. So sort of like the rookie thing to do is always just to like summon Surzeal, and then you pick up your Selene from the deck and pass turn while you have 1 disruption and a little protection. But if you want to go a little bit deeper, I'll just sort of show you how to work around that. So you can go ahead and we'll start off by activating Evil Eye Domain Pareidolia, which is going to allow us to search and add a Evil Eye monster to hand. So we will pick up Basilius, and we'll normal summon up the Surzeal, using Surzeal's effect in order to add an Evil Eye card from our deck to our hand. So we will pick up the Evil Eye of Selene right off of there. Again, if we get Ash Blossomed off the Pareidolia, we still have the Surzeal as backup. Special summon the Basilius from your hand with its own effect, and then use him to Foolish Burial Goods your Gorgonio into the graveyard. Activate Gorgonio's effect in order to banish it from the graveyard, and then send your Selene into the graveyard, and then Gorgonio will allow you to add any Evil Eye spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So at this point, if we don't have Evil Eye Retribution in our hand, that is a good card to pick up. Otherwise, from here, I would either pick up Awakening, or you can pick up your, gotta find it. you can pick up your new spell card, the Evil Eye Remergence, which I think we're just going to pick up the Remergence right now. So with Remergence, we could activate that right now. It would be nice if we would have Selene on the field in order to get another monster, but with that, we will just take an Evil Eye token, and then that will allow us, we can actually take these two cards and link away into our Gorgon, Empress of the Evil Eye. And then now that we have an Evil Eye spell in the graveyard, we can we can pay 1,000 life points and set Selene to our field by banishing the Remergence. And then we can go ahead and activate the Evil Eye of Selene and equip it either to Surzeal or Gorgon, whatever you think is more applicable in this situation. And that was all off of just 2 cards. Had we had more in our hand, we would hopefully be able to search and add our Evil Eye Retribution just for a little field protection, or if we already drew into our Solemn Judgment, that would be just enough right there. And then our next thing would be if we could somehow get into have our Artifact Sanctum set to our side of the field, or else a Crackdown or Evil Eye of Defeat. So overall, that's just sort of like the simplest way to run your turns. Go ahead on into some of this stuff. And I'll go off really quick into how you can get into your Zerzeal. Alright guys, now lastly I want to show off one final combo with the Evil Eye Domain Pareidolia and Evil Eye Awakening. And basically any combo, like any variation between Evil Eye of Selene or Remergence, one of these 2 cards. And again, with like Pareidolia, you can easily swap out Pareidolia with Surzeal in here. We also have Terraforming to search this out. This deck just has so many different ways to work around it. Besides Evil Eye Awakening, another card that you can consider, 2 cards that you could consider in this deck. Again, Evil Eye Confrontation, I mentioned that's in the side deck. And then Evil Eye Repose, I recently took this out. It's basically like a nice little upstart goblin for the deck, but it's just like, I used to have these in the deck just because they were another Evil Eye spell that you could use to try to boost up your Surzeal, but we're still not really trying to go into our Zerzeal Link monster on turn 1, but yeah, anyways, this is again how you get on into Zerzeal. If you say you're going turn 2 and you're trying to get on into him so you can do like a nice 2-attack OTK. So we will start off with the Pareidolia Awakening, and we'll just say Evil Eye of Selene in hand. We will start off by activating the Pareidolia and pick up our Surzeal. Use Surzeal to summon him and pick up our Evil Eye Remergence from hand. From here, it's pretty simple. All we got to do is activate Evil Eye of Selene. And then now with activating 2 cards, we are going to get Surzeal up an additional 1,000 attack points, so we can get Zerzeal on the field with 2 attacks. Or again, if you're going second in this scenario and your opponent has a monster, you can use Surzeal in order to blow up one of your opponent's monsters. He'll gain 500 attack just from using his own effect from Surzeal, or from Evil Eye of Selene. Activate the Evil Eye Remergence. Since we have Selene on the field, we will get 2 tokens off of the Remergence, and now we are locked into Fiends for the turn, which is not a problem. So now this card is going to be boosted up by 500 attack. Activate the Evil Eye Awakening, and this is going to allow us to special any Evil Eye monster from the deck, and here is where I would actually pick up the Catabalpass from the deck. So with Catabalpass, we can go ahead and link off, let's say we'll take these 3 right here. With activating the Awakening, we will now have Surzeal up to 2,600 attack. My bad. And then now that we have a 2,600 attack monster, we'll take one of the tokens and Surzeal and Catabalpass, link them off into Zerzeal. Now he can attack twice this turn. Since we have our graveyard full of spells, we'll use Evil Eye of Selene to set it back to our side of the field, and from here we can activate Catabalpass's graveyard effect. Since we have an Evil Eye on the field, special summon him from the graveyard, and then we can still take these 2 and link away into Gorgon, Empress of the Evil Eye. And if you want to flip-flop this, you can just put Empress here and then Zerzeal, or you can just do it this way depending on how you like it. activate Evil Eye of Selene onto which two of these that you think is the most applicable. Or again, this was just like a 3-card combo. If you open up a little bit better and you can get either your second copy of Selene or Evil Eye Gorgonio onto your field, onto one of these guys as well, that's really great, because then here you're going to end up with 1 monster negate and 1 card that you can destroy per turn, both as quick effects. So anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it for this deck profile and combo tutorial. Thank you very much for sticking around. This deck is definitely my favorite right now. This is my favorite for when I'm just sort of casually playing around with my buddies. I really like this. If you guys have not yet subscribed, please consider doing so. And again, let me know if you guys are looking for a budget build on this. I can definitely do that, trying to keep it at about $100. And besides that, I will just catch you guys in the future for future deck profiles and combo vids. Thanks for watching. Common Collector out.